an all-powerful genie!
These climactic battles made great Disney films even better. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 Disney Showdowns.
Prepare to die!
Live, Peter!
For this list, we're looking at the best moments in Disney films where the hero faces off with the villain.
So what's the plan? You don't have a plan?
We are excluding Pixar films, however, because they deserve their own list. And, as you may have guessed, since these showdowns mostly function as the climaxes of their respective movies, a spoiler alert is probably in order.
I'll kill you for this.
Number 10. Basil vs. Professor Ratigan, the Great Mouse Detective.
Professor Ratigan!
One of the more underrated films in the Disney pantheon, this Sherlock Holmes-inspired flick has one of the most creative showdowns, as Basil takes on Ratigan inside the iconic Big Ben clock tower.
Basil, look out!
Complicating matters is the presence of little Olivia, who is nearly crushed by the clock's gears before Basil is able to save her. Ratigan gives Basil a pretty good beating, but when the clock bell strikes 10, it appears both fall to their deaths. Miraculously, Basil is able to save himself by flying a piece of wreckage from Ratigan's dirigible.
Hooray! Oh, good fellow! Oh, jolly good!
Number 9. Merlin vs. Madam Mim, the Sword in the Stone.
Rule 4, no cheating.
All right. Now paste off 10.
Who doesn't love a wizard's duel? This showdown pits Merlin's expertise and knowledge against Madam Mim's dark magic.
You made the rules.
It's all set in motion when Mim changes herself into a cat and attempts to eat Arthur, who has been changed into a sparrow. Merlin arrives just in time to save his life, whereupon Mim challenges Merlin to a wizard's duel.
Want to fight? Want to have a wizard's duel?
As you wish, madam.
The wily witch attempts to defeat the old mage by cheating and using black magic.
Madam, just a minute. This is...
But in the world of Disney, good always triumphs over evil. And after a long and inventive battle, Merlin eventually outwits Mim by turning into a germ and infecting her with a chickenpox-like disease.
Oh, scoundrel!
Number 8. Tarzan vs. Clayton, Tarzan.
You there! Take what you can back to the boat!
This showdown results in one of the nastiest deaths ever seen in a Disney film.
I've got some hunting to do.
After blasting Kerchak with his shotgun, Clayton attempts to shoot Tarzan, who flees into the trees. Clayton follows him, and the two engage in a vicious fight.
Go ahead, shoot me.
Tarzan has Clayton where he wants him, but making the typical Disney good guy mistake, he spares the villain's life. After which point, Clayton naturally tries to do him in. Tarzan then gets the upper hand by immobilizing his nemesis with vines. Clayton begins wildly hacking away at them, but does not cut the one around his neck, and gets what he deserves. Number 7. Fa Mulan vs. Xiang Yu, Mulan.
You took away my victory!
No! I did.
At first, this seems like less of a showdown and more of a beatdown, as Xiang Yu chases Mulan throughout the palace, nearly decapitating her with his sword. They eventually end up on the roof, where Mulan uses her fan to steal Xiang Yu's sword.
Not quite.
After a beautiful leg swipe, Mulan pins him down with the sword. Then, acting on Mulan's orders, Mushu blasts a bag of fireworks at him, sending him flying across the sky to his own demise.
Get off the roof, get off the roof!
Number 6. Prince Erik vs. Ursula, the Little Mermaid. This is your classic Disney showdown. The villain takes the form of a giant monster, while the prince shows up at the last second to rescue the princess.
Insignificant fool!
Things look bleak for Ariel and Erik when Ursula transforms into a giant and creates a massive whirlpool with her newly acquired trident. Unfortunately for her, this causes several sunken ships to come to the surface, one of which is boarded by Erik. The prince then steers the ship into Ursula, impaling her and ending the nightmare once and for all. Number 5. Quasimodo versus Judge Claude Frollo, The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
All my life you have told me that the world is a dark, cruel place, but now I see that the only thing dark and cruel about it is people like you.
It's hard enough taking on a sword-wielding religious madman on your own. It's even harder when you have to prevent the girl you love from falling into a pit of fire at the same time.
Leaving so soon?
Quasimodo is able to save Esmeralda, but there's still the evil Judge Claude Frollo to contend with. This showdown is notable in that it doesn't have a classic fistfight or duel. Instead, there's a lot of verbal fighting, as Frollo unleashes vicious insults, including one about the death of Quasimodo's mother.
I should have known you'd risk your life to save that gypsy witch, just as your own mother died trying to save you.
Fortunately for the Hunchback and for the audience, the fiendish Frollo finally falls to a well-deserved fiery death. Number 4. Aladdin versus Jafar, Aladdin.
Genie, grant me my first wish. I wish to rule on high as Sultan.
Aladdin is truly up against the odds in this showdown. His best friend, an all-powerful genie, is enslaved by his enemy, who turns into a giant snake.
A snake, am I? Perhaps you'd like to see how snake-like I can be.
As if that wasn't enough, the girl he loves is trapped in an hourglass, with sand threatening to suffocate her. Aladdin shows some skill with a sword and is able to fight Jafar off, but winning against this villain takes quick thinking more than brawn. And our street rat hero is all about thinking on his feet.
Face it, Jafar, you're still just second best.
By appealing to Jafar's giant ego, Aladdin triumphs and saves the day.
You wanted to be a genie? You got it. And everything that goes with it.
Number 3. Prince Phillip versus Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty.
Now shall you deal with me, O prince, and all the powers of hell!
Arguably one of the most famous scenes in the entire Disney canon, this showdown is everything you want from a fairy tale. A knight in shining armor taking on a dragon to save a princess. And while the fight ultimately comes down to Phillip versus Maleficent, the three fairies are also heroes.
That evil die and good endure.
They equip the prince with the magical sword of truth and shield of virtue, which help him hold his own against the witch, even in her terrifying dragon form. But eventually Phillip is cornered, so the fairies expertly enchant his sword. Its aim is true, and it pierces Maleficent's heart, causing her to fall to her death and breaking her spell in the process. Number 2. Beast versus Gaston, Beauty and the Beast.
Come on out and fight!
There are no dragons, genies, or magic spells in this showdown.
Belle is mine!
This fight comes down to brute strength versus brute strength, as Gaston and Beast settle their differences high atop the castle roof.
Get out.
While Gaston is strong, something he never lets us forget, he is no match for Beast's monstrous power. Beast refuses to kill Gaston, however, and is literally stabbed in the back for his mercy. Of course, like all good Disney villains, Gaston ends up paying for his treachery. Beast's life is spared as Belle professes her love for him, breaking his curse and finally changing him back into his human form. Before we unveil our number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions.
Somebody do something with that kid. Come on, Lex.
This is impossible. You can't be alive. You'd have to be a god.
Number 1, Simba vs. Scar, the Lion King.
Oh, yes, I remember. This is just the way your father looked before he died.
The minute Scar killed Mufasa, you knew this moment was coming.
Murderer!
No, Simba, please.
Simba finally gets a chance to confront his father's killer, but mercifully gives Scar a chance to save himself by telling him to run far away from Pride Rock.
The pressures of ruling a kingdom
are no longer yours. Step down, Scar.
Naturally, Scar refuses, and the two engage in an epic and fiery fight. Both sides land solid blows, but it's Simba who gets the upper hand when he flips a lunging Scar over the side of the cliff, resulting in his death at the hands of his own hyena henchman.
Ah, my friends.
Friends? I thought he said we were the enemy.
The irony is delicious. Do you agree with our list?
Oh, it's not too serious, madam. You should recover in a few weeks and be as good, I mean as bad as ever.
What's your favorite Disney Showdown? For more excellent top 10s published every day, be sure to subscribe to WatchMojo.com.
Get away from me! Don't touch me! Get your slimy souls off me! He's not gonna be happy when he gets out of there!